Hello, welcome back, my nature lovers. How we all doing today? For those of you returning for another one of my videos, I want to say thank you, much appreciated. For those of you new to this channel, this is Skelly by Nature. I am Skelly, and in this channel we deal a lot with things of nature, things like natural dog foods and dog treats. Say hi, Mook. Mook, you want to say hi? Uh, exactly. Okay, snooze. So we deal with things of, making natural dog food and dog treats, foraging, or how to use herbs and spices for good health, growing all types of stuff, making natural products to help the environment. These are all things that we cover on this channel. So stay tuned. There's going to be tons of new videos in the future, more things to come. But today's video, we're here. I'm sitting here. It's the first week in May. It's spring. We've been cooped up all winter long. One of the things that we love to do up here in New England is sit around a nice campfire. What's better than sitting around with a group of friends, having a nice drink, chit-chatting? It's wonderful. The only downfall is mosquitoes, bugs. They bother us. So today I'm going to show you how to make a natural bug deterrent stick. And what this does is you make these sticks and you burn them. And you put them in the corner. You make kind of a square around your campfire, and the smoke blows around, and the smell alone keeps bugs away. It helps deter the bugs away from us. So I'm going to show you what we are going to do. So let's get right down to it. So the first thing that I'm going to talk about is the ingredients and material that we need to make this. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to pick 3 herbs that are known to help deter bugs away. So I will put a list down below of other herbs, but for me today, I'm using one tablespoon of sage, 1 tablespoon of peppermint, 1 tablespoon of thyme, and then I have 9 tablespoons of sawdust. Now, if you don't have somebody around that you can get sawdust from, whether a carpenter or something, your dad, your mom, whoever, what you can do is do what I did. I just happened to have a neighbor who was getting some cedar trees taken down. So I went up and grabbed a big bucket full of cedar chips. As you can see, I've got them all over the place. And the nice thing about cedar is cedar also acts as a bug deterrent. But you can go ahead and use any type of wood. It's really just what we're doing is that's going to be our burning agent. And so what you can do is before, we want a nice fine, see how fine it's real fine. And so what I do is I just take a standard sieve and shake it through on a plate until I get my 9 tablespoons of nice fine sawdust. So the other things that you're going to want to keep on hand is I'm also going to be using rosemary oil. So we're going to need, you're going to want to get some type of essential oil. I also have a little bit of water, and I have a cup of flour. And then lastly, I have my jug of bacon lard. And so let's get right down to it. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're just going to push these piles into the middle, and we're going to mix this up. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the next step, and I'm just going to kind of flatten this out a little bit. And my next step is going to take the essential oil that you choose. I have my trusty little squirter. And again, when you do this, as you do this more and more and make these more, you're gonna come up with your own little mixtures and amounts, which is fine as long as it works. That's the idea. And I'm gonna put basically a couple milliliters of oil in there. So we got our oil in there set to go. I'm gonna take a little bit of the flour. Now the flour I'm basically using as kind of a binding agent. It helps kind of paste up so that it sticks to our sticks when we go and roll this. You'll see what I mean later on. So I'm just putting a little coat. Now, I will fair warn you, if you're going to do this and you have pets at home, you may want to take this outside and do this outside. It does have a very strong scent to it. So if you do this inside and you have, say, birds or cats or dogs or something like that, the smell alone might bother them a little. So I tend to like to do this outside. And when you have a beautiful spring day like this, why not? Gives you a little arts and crafts outdoors. How fun is that? So we're just gonna mix that in, get that mixed up a little bit. Now for the next step, what we're gonna do is I'm gonna take a nice scoop of lard, and I'm gonna pour that right in. So the idea now of what we're trying to do is we're trying to make a mixture here that is going to stick together. As we mix this in, you'll see it's gonna start to kind of start getting sticky, which is what we're looking for. And also too, if you attempt to do this and you have any issues, you know, a couple little things that, you know, I've been making them for a while, so I kind of have an idea what we're looking for. But if you find that your stick isn't burning long, then you're going to want to add more sawdust to your mixture. If you find that the bugs aren't being deterred away, then you're going to want to add a little more of your essential oil or a little more of your herb, and that will help change that. Those are the two issues that I had when I started doing this. So we're just mixing this up. Now, as you can see, I can smush this together. It's not making a good ball. See how that falls apart? So we're not ready yet. So again, I'm going to flatten this out. I'm going to put a tiny bit of water in there. Now, go slow when you add stuff. You're better off adding little by little than to add too much and have to keep adding product. So, you know, again, start slow when you add stuff. Just put a little in, mix it around. And as you can see, we're getting kind of a pasty mush. So we got a nice ball there. See how I can drop it and it doesn't quite fall apart. So we're getting there, we're getting close. So I'm gonna just add just a little bit more flour. And a little touch more of the lard. Mix this right in. Okay, so you can see I got a good little ball right there. It's sticking together well. And if I drop it, see how it stays together? So that I know I'm ready. And that's what you're looking for. If it breaks apart, just, you know, keep adding a little bit of water or a little bit of powder, flour, or a little bit more lard. After you do this, you just kind of, you'll get a hang of it. So now we're ready to do the next step. So I'm gonna put my tray off to the side here for now. And I'm gonna get myself, you wanna use I'm using parchment paper, you can use wax paper, you know, something like that. Don't use regular paper because of the moisture. So you're gonna wanna use a wax paper or something. So what I'm gonna do is just take a good amount from my little pile, and I'm going to kind of make a line. Try to make it nice and even, you know. So that then what I'm gonna do is, now I bought just your standard cooking skewers that you can buy at the grocery store. That's all you really need. Any kind of wood works. And I'm going to set this right into the middle. I don't like that one, it's not straight. And then I'm going to enclose that right around it. So now that the skewer's in the middle, and you can add to it as, you know, as you need. You find it's a little small on the bottom, that's fine. So now you can see how I have it. Okay, so now that we have the stick in the middle and it's packed in a little bit, the next step we're gonna do is we're going to roll this. Now, the best way to do this is take your back flap, flap it over. Now, I'm gonna hold the top of the sheet, and with my fingers, I'm just kind of giving it a light little press on the bottom and getting that pressed in a little bit. Just giving a little bit of a roll, slight, you know, slow, going slow. We're just gonna roll this. Trying to just get just a rough shape. So then, once I do that, now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna tuck this, the top piece, and try to tuck it under, kind of get it tucked under there a little bit. So that way, when I roll this now, the whole thing is rolling up and it's packing it. So I'm gonna do that while pulling on the bottom piece. Give it a little pull. That's gonna tighten it up a little bit. We're just gonna keep rolling again. Give it a little pull. Now I'm basically using my fingertips to pack this. Okay, so now I got it rolled. Now I'm gonna take the top and I'm just gonna pull it. And I got myself a nice little round piece here. So then the next step that we have is over here, I took what was left over of my 3 herbs that I had used, and this is all dry. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this and we're gonna put it in there. We're gonna kind of lightly roll it. Be careful, you don't want it to fall apart on you. What we're doing is just kind of getting a little bit of dry herbs on the outside. So I'm gonna take a little and sprinkle it on top. And just keep rolling. Now there we go. We have ourselves a nice stick. So don't worry, you just saw the tip fall off. That's okay, because there's no wood there. And be cautious if you're going to hold it by the stick. Sometimes it's best to hold it by this here. So now the final step that we're going to do is we're going to take, I have a drying screen. I just put it on the drying screen. I let it sit outside, let it dry for a little while. I do a day or two. If you want, if you're in a rush to use them, I've never done it, but I'm sure it would work, most likely. You could probably stick it in your oven at a very, very low temp for, you know, a couple, like, you know, I don't know time-wise. You'd have to kind of play with it, but I'd say, you know, half hour or so would help dry it out as well. Now, like I said, what you're going to do is when these are done, you know, surround the area that you guys are going to be, you know, that you want to use these. And as the smoke flows around, that inside area will stay bug-free. So that's the idea of how these work. So if you guys have any questions, any problems, any comments like that, feel free, drop them in the box below. Do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Share this with other people. I'm sure you know plenty of people who enjoy sitting around a fire or camping, or, you know, even at sports events, whatever it is. These can be used all over the place, and they roughly will burn for a few hours. So hopefully you can get good use out of these, and I hope you guys learned a little something today. And until the next video, be beautiful, be awesome.